following program contains disturbing materials that may not be suitable for some resellers. Viewer discretion is advised.
eBay's cancellation policy. What do you guys think of it in its current state? Well, let me tell you guys that eBay, it looks like they're changing it. And they're not really getting rid of it. They're actually, I guess, enhancing this policy. And I say enhancing because it was brought to our attention by a friend of the channel, who also has a channel, Josh Galt, and he provided me with some screenshot evidence of this as well. But it was mentioned on yesterday's Primo Chemo live show that he received a very strange message on the eBay app where he had sold an item. In this particular case, it was a vintage mini hair iron from the 90s or something like that, brand new in the box. So there's probably not too many vintage Windmere hair irons out there that are in brand new condition, but I digress. Anyway, he receives a sale, and within minutes he gets a cancellation request. I think many of you guys are familiar with eBay and their wonderful cancellation requests where a buyer has an hour from the time of purchase to cancel the sale. Well, that's what happened in this case. But when Josh opened his app, he was greeted with a message that he could not click out of. He had to answer that question. He was put on the spot. And eBay had asked him a question, had let him know there was a cancellation. However, he could price match. Yes, that's right. eBay was willing to allow him to price match the better offer that the buyer found, because the buyer did cancel the sale or requested to cancel the sale due to finding a better price. And you can just imagine how eBay was involved there. They probably showed this buyer the better price in the checkout screen or at the confirmation screen after the item was paid for. So the buyer probably said, let me go ahead and cancel the sale. eBay, in this new feature, which is a mystery, I don't know exactly the steps that are taken after the buyer requests to cancel the sale, but Josh is notified of the cancellation request and then given the opportunity to match the lower price. That's right, price match. Josh was given a chance to match the lower price of the sale. Now, in this particular case, he did. He said, yes, let's go ahead and get rid of it. It's a long tail item. He just, wanted to move on from it, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and price match it and send it off. Now, many of you watching will say, well, it's not a thing unless I see actual proof for myself. So Josh was kind enough to grab the screenshots that he was able to grab. Now, mind you, Josh was kind of put on the spot when eBay popped this message up on his app and asked him a yes or no question. It would not allow him to get out of that pop-up unless he continued. So not thinking about the YouTube side of things or, passing this information on, he was kind of caught up in the moment of the sale. Of course he should be. And he elected to take the offer of matching the lower price. And he had mentioned this on Primo's channel, and I had reached out to him and talked to him about it and asked him, hey, I know you can't get a screenshot of that initial message because it goes away once you say yes or no, but there's got to be a way you can go into the transaction and find something that either through the refund details or through an email that eBay sends you, you should be able to get some information on this and what happened. So he did that, and he sent me some screenshots. So thank you, Josh Galt, and thank you for allowing me to share this with the viewers. And I'm sure Josh is going to be talking about this on his live, if he goes live today. Now, as you can see here, this was for this vintage 1990s Windmere Sizzle Touch Up battery operated mini hair iron that's brand new. It says your refund has been initiated. So he elected to say yes to price matching the buyer. So eBay issued a refund of $4.99. That's before tax, okay, that eBay had collected, and he owed $4.31. Now, as you can see, the message from eBay says you declined the cancellation request for order, blah, blah, blah. So that shows that he declined the cancellation request because he was taking the price match. And as you can see, the cancellation details, the buyer's offer has been accepted, and it says a refund for the difference has been issued to the buyer. The buyer's cancellation request has been declined, and a refund has been issued for the difference to the buyer. Please fulfill the buyer's order. And it shows the new price, $20.98. And as you can see in the breakdown for the order, it says what your buyer paid. Item subtotal $12.99, shipping $7.99, sales tax, blah blah blah, refund $5.21. That was probably with sales tax. So that new order total was $16.68. So that shows you guys that this is a thing, and it's a new thing. Now, is it a thing that's on a limited basis? Only a limited number of sellers will get this opportunity. And I say opportunity lightly because I'm not sure it's an opportunity. Just depends on how you look at it. Well, there's some good things and some bad things about this. And I want to know what you guys think down below. Let's start off with the good things. The good thing that I can see that's coming out of this. If this is going to be rolled out amongst all sellers, instead of simply being told, sorry, you lost a sale to a lower price, at least now we get a chance to match that lower price, right? We get to save the sale. Let's say it's an item you've been sitting on for many weeks, months, or maybe even over a year. Let's hope not. But if you are, let's just say that happens to be the case. Well, you have an option to say, look, I don't care. I just want to blow this thing out, and you accept the offer. Now, from what I understand, from what I've read, and also this is being reported on valueaddedresource.net's website, well, from what they're saying is it's not popping up with what that lower offer is. So the good thing is you get to save the sale, and it will allow you to move that merchandise. What kind of offer you're matching, I don't know if it's showing it or not. According to Josh, he kind of was caught up in the moment. I don't know if he was given the option to see what that lower price was, but that's a big problem. So the good thing is it allows you to move the merchandise and save the sale, but lacking that information, if it's not showing you the price, then that is certainly an option, a problem. Now, why is it bad? Why is it a problem? Now, I'm sure many of you guys might be thinking this is more problematic than it is a good thing, and I'm kind of leaning that way myself. I think the number one thing is this is a race to the bottom, a potential race to the bottom type thing. If you're that desperate to make a sale, buyers, it will start with sellers who are buyers, who are aware of this, and will use this tactic to try to get the price lower, and other non-seller buyers will then learn that this is a thing and start utilizing this tactic. It's very problematic to me that eBay continues to show our items or similar items to the one we just sold in the checkout module. There's a little module of promoted listed items that are similar, if not the same, to yours that you just sold. And they also show that on the final screen after the checkout is complete. Now the buyer sees that lower price. They're like, I can save $5 in this case, like Josh's situation. And they go in and buy that item. And then they go and ask to cancel yours. Now, where it's also is somewhat troublesome to me is, how is this determined? Does the buyer actually go in, find the new item, buy it, and then go in and request a cancellation, and then eBay sees that they bought the same item? Or is eBay asking the buyer why they want to cancel, and they put found lower price, regardless if it's on eBay or another platform, and maybe eBay asks them, how much did you pay? And then eBay's making the adjustment and then sending it to you to say, do you want to save the sale or not? So it's not clear, and the reason it's not clear is because eBay has not been transparent. This is a lot like the things that they've done in the past, where they just spring things on us and they expect us to just adapt without any explanation or heads up. And I think that is bad business practice. And this is kind of the position that Josh was put in, to make a rash decision without even knowing that it's a thing. So that lack of transparency is certainly problematic here. But really, if we're not even knowing what the new offer is, and it's hard for me to even believe that that would be a thing. I'm hopeful that is not the case. I'm hopeful that it does show the price. Here's $20. Do you want to match it or not? That would make more sense to me. The idea that you cannot navigate away from this on the app to see, maybe in your SKU like I do, I have a little note as to what I paid for the item, just so that I know for negotiation purposes how low I'm willing to go. And if you can't even back out of that and you have to make a rash decision, it's not a good thing. Now, from what I understand, this is on the app only and not on the PC, not on the Mac, just on the app. And you know how eBay, we all have different versions of the app, it seems. Maybe only affecting certain sellers for now, maybe sort of on a limited basis to see how well it goes. But just to try to figure this whole thing out, the mystery to me, the big mystery to me is, how is eBay determining what the actual offer to match would be? And let's say this buyer goes on and buys this item from this second seller at the lower price point. eBay tries to save your sale. You say, sure, I'll match the offer. Well, what happens to the second sale? What happens there? Does eBay let them know, sorry, the sale didn't go through? So that's what leads me to believe this is one of those things where eBay, there's no sale, there's no second sale involved. eBay is simply asking the buyer, what did you pay? And this is where a buyer can manipulate things and say, well, I only paid $15 when there's no seller out there selling the same item for $15. You might even have the lowest price or the only item being sold on eBay, yet the buyer's using found lower price to manipulate you to give them lower price on the sale. So that part is very unclear. And because I would not think, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that this is a thing, even though I'm saying that it doesn't seem like it should be a thing, that it doesn't seem to me that eBay would have that buyer go through and buy another item outright and then give you a chance to save your sale, and then have to deal with this other seller who wasn't involved in the first place, who's just stuck in the middle here, causing all kinds of confusion for buyer and seller. It's a hot mess, guys. That's my opinion. I think that eBay should give us a heads up. Here's how this program works. This is how we calculate the matching of your price. And, this is what the buyer's dealing with. So you can understand, in case the buyer reaches out to you and asks you what's going on, you can explain to them exactly what the process is. Currently, if you get an email from a buyer, you have no way of telling them what's happening here. And hopefully this video will give you some kind of heads up. And I don't want this to be a complaint video. It's not a complaint video. This is to let you know what's going on to some sellers right now, including our friend Josh Gall. So it could happen to you. You could receive that cancellation request. And as many of you guys know, cancellation requests are usually because they found a lower price. And we can thank eBay for sponsoring this buyer behavior, because they continue to show the same item to our buyers. And it would be a lot better. Look, someone buys a shirt from you, a red shirt. Why not show something that'll match that red shirt? Like some shorts that'll go with it, or a pair of shoes. I think that would be a good way to create more business. But in this case, eBay's creating a loss for not only the seller, but for eBay, because a $50 item now being sold for $40 to another seller only gets eBay a collection of fees off the $40 item rather than that $50 item, if that makes sense. So I just don't even understand what financial gain or how this improves the seller or buyer experience on the platform. I think it does the opposite. And eBay really needs to consider and reconsider what they're doing to create this particular problem. And I think it all starts with what they're showing the buyer after they buy our item. So that's my, not a rant, but that's my information to you. Take it for what it is. Again, eBay, in my opinion, is the best place to sell your stuff because it's where the money's being made. That's where I make my money, and that's where a lot of sellers are making their money. So stay the course, know what obstacles are out there like this, be aware, and proceed accordingly. But figuring all that out, and this particular change for cancellation requests, is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to do me a favor. Consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy this content. And Google wants you to check out one of these videos they think you might like. And until the next time, have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone.